Okay, so apparently you couldn't hear me. So let me tell you again. This is our wacky packs that we have put together for you to pick up from the church. If you haven't gotten one yet, come by the church and grab one. Today we'll be doing art, so take out your art supply bag and get everything set up. You'll need some water and a paper towel. I have a Bible verse to share with you today. Ephesians 2:10 says, "For we are God's masterpiece, created in Christ Jesus to do good work, which God prepared for us to do." So if you think about it, me and you are God's favorite thing He's ever made, and that's pretty special. We have a presenter today that grew up in Tyler, Texas. She's done artwork her whole life since she was a little girl. She once sang in a group choir at Carnegie Hall. She's known for painting gourds. She's sold art all around the country, and she's a member of the Brazosport Art League. So please welcome Miss Cynthia Keithley.
Woohoo! Good morning. Okay. Well, I hope you have your art supplies out. We are going to paint a koi. In your bag, it should look like this. There we go. All right. Now, let me tell you about koi while you're getting your supplies out if you're not ready. Koi come in all kinds of colors, okay? They come in white and black and red and orange, yellow, blue, even cream. And some people even have a hobby of collecting koi. You can buy them from $10 to $100. And they're sold in pet aquarium shops. Koi is a Japanese word that can mean affection or love, and koi are symbols of love and friendship in Japan. Okay. Now, you should have a palette, and your palette, I've done a little tracing for you. Okay, so you've got that. You're going to get out your paintbrush. You've got a paintbrush here. Should have two. We're going to start with the wide one, and then we're going to have our paint. So you should have blue, orange, yellow, white, red, and black, okay? Then we're gonna need a cup of water because we're gonna dip in the water and we're gonna clean our paintbrush, okay? You may need a paper towel, okay? Sometimes I'm messy. Or you may need some wipes. Okay, Paul, if you'll go back to the widescreen for me. So if you have any questions, stir a little bit. Let's get a little close-up shot here. Okay, we're going to start at the top, and we're going to do our water. Okay. Now, if for some reason you have to leave, you would be able to come back this afternoon, and you can see the video again. Okay, if there's something that you missed. So, if I go too fast, you can always repeat. Okay. So now we're doing our water. I'm just going to go all the way across. And we're just getting the paint on it. Don't have to be perfect right now. So we're going to have little brush strokes. And that's fine. You know why? Because if you ever notice, water moves. It's usually not perfectly still. so there's usually movement, little lines in the water. So don't worry about, we're just getting the paint onto our palette. So I'm hoping that you guys are ready for the summer. I think Miss Ashley's got some really cool things planned for the rest of your Wacky Wednesdays. And if this works out good, I might even do another one. Okay, how are we doing there? I'm just going around my fish. I'm just getting it in the middle part. And in a minute, I'm going to go around the lily pad. If you're wondering what that big thing looks like, and you think, oh, that sort of looks like one of those old-timey, what was it called, Pac-Man? It's really going to be our lily pad. Okay, so I'm putting some paint down here. All right. There we go. Got to get some on the side. All right, a little paint over here. So yesterday, I got to go to the beach. It was a lot of fun. And we were in water.
Was the water that color?
No, the water was not this color. The water was sort of brown, but it was nice. So I know some of you probably have swimming pools, or you may be able to go to the beach this summer. That's great. All right, so now I'm at the bottom. All right, a little bit right here. Now I'm going to go back. I said if it's too thick, dip into your water and thin it out. And now I'm going to smooth it out and I'm just barely brushing it. I'm not like dragging it real hard. I'm just smoothing it out just a little bit, just to make it a little bit more even, because I don't want any white spots right now. We can add white spots later if we want. I'm just smoothing it out. Actually, I think I'll just hold it up and let you look at it. Okay. Now I'm going to go around my lily pad. And I've got what you call a loaded brush, and I'm going to hold it steady, and I'm just going to draw like a circle around it. I'm going to start there, and if it's not perfectly round, it's okay. Lily pads aren't perfectly round. Okay, now I need more paint. Going around the circle, around my little lily pad. Anybody have questions? How we doing, Pastor Paul?
Good.
Okay, now this one might be a little trickier. I'm going to go straight. Straight across here. All right. There we go. Smooth it out. It's looking good. So people who have koi and they feed them every day, do you know what? The koi recognizes their owners. Isn't that interesting? They know when they're going to be fed, and they recognize their owners. I don't remember how many years they live, but I think they live a long time. Okay, now I'm starting at the bottom of the fish, and I'm going around his tail. And I'm just like pushing down and pulling. Okay? Push and pull. I'm going to do the same over here. Now, I'm right-handed, but if you're left-handed and this is awkward, just pick up your canvas, turn it around, and you paint the way that feels more comfortable to you. And if turning it around feels more comfortable, that's good. Now, I'm on his little bitty fin right there, and I'm just going to be careful and go around it. But if I get over a little bit, that's okay, because we're going to put white paint in that area, so we're not going to worry about that. So I'm now on the side of the fish. I'm just going to pull, flatten and pull. There we go. Now, back to the bottom. There we go. Looking good. Now I'm going back to my lily pad. And I see I got a couple of little spots, splatters of paint, and that's fine. I'm not going to worry about them because I'm going to put green on top of that. All right, there we go. And we're going to make green because you're saying, oh, I don't have green. Guess what? We're going to make our own green. It's going to be a lot of fun. No questions?
You're a good teacher.
Everybody is concentrating. Here we go. All right. So I've gone all the way around my lily pad, and now I'm going to go back and finish the tail, around the tail. This is a little trickier. Take your time. And you know what? If you go over it, it's fine. No problem. Here, there. So this koi, he's swimming in a pond with a lily pad. Have you ever seen a lily pad? Well, if you ever go to the Houston Zoo, they have koi, I think, and they have lily pads. And in a lot of Japanese paintings, they paint a lot of koi and lily pads. It's one of their favorite subjects. I'm at the top of, and I'm going around this fin now. I'm just getting my paint, loading my brush, pushing down, and just making one big stroke. Did you see how I did that? Okay. I'm going to do it again. Load my brush right here. I'm going to go along this line right here, and I'm just going to push it down and then just pull it straight toward me. I'm flipping my brush over because there's paint on the other side. Done. What do you think? Looking good. Okay. Now I'm up at the top by his mouth.
Easton wants to know if koi are a fish culture.
Culture? What does that mean?
I'm not sure. I think it's like a group or species.
Yes.
There are certainly...
They're akin to the carp. And they've been bred to come in different colors and spots. So they've got hybrids. All right, so now I'm at the top. I'm flipping my brush, pushing down and pulling. Okay, it's all around the head. All right. Now I'm going to move my palette, so like I said, however you're comfortable, just move it around. And I see a couple of little spots I might want to touch up just a little bit there. All right, now I'm on the top fin, pushing down and pulling. There we go. He is swimming today in some beautiful blue water. So you know what? I said he. It could be a girl. I don't know. But you can name your koi. What should I name this one? Well, I don't think it's a Nemo. Now I'm doing something different. You see how I'm doing this one? I'm just putting it against that little line and I'm pulling it toward me. Just a different technique. However you're comfortable painting. Right, there we go. We are almost finished with this part. Do I need to slow down or everybody up with me? Okay, I just went a little over, but that's fine. There, okay. Now I'm just gonna lightly smooth just a little bit. Like I said, he's in the water, so it's moving, and I like texture. So if it's a little lumpy, that's fine. That's just him splashing around, making waves. I'm gonna hold this up so you get a better look. There we go. You see, it's not perfect. It's got little lines. All right. I was a little messy and I got some paint on me. But you know what? I'm just going to take this water right here and I've got a little paper towel and I'm going to clean up. All right. Now, you should have a little paper plate, okay? I'm going to clean my brush because I need just a little bit of this white. A little white. And I'm going to put my white paint, just a little bit, little scoop, right there in the plate. See that? Okay. And put the lid back on my white and move it out of the way. And I want to put a little water on it. Just a little dab of water. Oh, see that blue? Mix it in there. That's fine. No big deal. I want it watery. There we go. It's getting watery. Like, what is she doing? I'll show you. Okay. I'm going to add some highlights. So I'm just going to put a little white here, a little dab white here, a little bit of white here, a little touch there, and a little bit there. Okay. Clean my brush. And now I'm going to blend. I'm just going to do little strokes. And that's going to blend, make a little highlight, gives us texture. All right. Now if it starts dragging too much, just get a little more water on your brush. Blending it in just a bit. There we go. All right. That looks good. All right. Clean the brush. Now we're going to put our blue up for just a few minutes, and we're going to paint the orange. Okay, so just to remind you, this is what we want to do. It's like nailed it. This is what we have. Nailed it. No. Okay, so he has spots. So we're going to paint orange spots, okay? So get your orange out. You want to clean your brush very good. All right, I hope you all have a paper towel. Now, if your orange, it's pretty thick. I'm going too fast. I'll put a couple drops of water in it, and that's all. Give it a tiny little stir. All I'm going to start with the big spot right here. We will probably do 2 coats of paint, so we're just getting it on there. I'm holding it flat. I'm just going with the curve. See that? If you got a little blue in there, don't worry about it. If it's too wet, just dry it on a little paper towel a little bit. It will dry. Just going with the curve right now. I'm not worrying about the lumps yet. I'm going to have to curve my brush just a little bit because it's getting a skinny area right there. Like I said, we're going to be doing 2 coats. Okay, so I just went over my line a little bit. That's no big deal. Those are just guidelines. If you don't like that shape, you can change it up a little bit. Okay, if it's more comfortable for you to turn your palette, just move it around. Do we have any questions? All right, just sliding down right there. Okay. Now I'm going to smooth it just a little bit. Everybody's concentrating. Hold it up. What do you think? Pretty good. Okay. Now, he's got this big spot on his head, and that's what I'm going to work on now. If for some reason you think this is not working well, then use your smaller. Some of you have a smaller brush, use a smaller brush. But I'm going to hold my brush up. It's like I'm sweeping. I'm just taking my little broom and sweep. So I'm holding it upright like this. Okay. So we're making a little circle. Does anybody have a favorite color that's orange? A lot of people have favorite colors of blue, but I bet there's some people that their favorite color is orange. Here we go. All right, so we've done the big spot on his body. We've done the little spot on his hand, on his head, and now almost under his belly. He's got a little spot. So we're going to paint that. If some of the blue gets on your orange, it's okay. All right. There we go. Okay, so that's very wet. What we're going to do next is we're going to work on our lily pad while that orange dries. So you're going to need your palette. I'm calling this paper plate your palette. And we're going to mix some colors. I have my yellow. Did you know you can make colors by mixing other colors together? I'm taking a big scoop of my yellow. Okay. And I'm going to take I'm going to clean my brush a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm going to take a little tiny scoop of my blue. And I'm going to start mixing it with my little paintbrush. You don't have to push too hard, but just go make little circles. See? I'm just going around and around. Ooh, look what's happening. What color is that? We're making green. Woo! Woohoo!
Yay!
Are y'all excited?
I am.
Yay, Pastor Paul's excited. We're making green.
The best color ever.
He likes green. Okay.
That's the color of the water at the beach.
Yeah, okay. Now, I'm going to get some of that paint off, and I want a little bit more yellow. And a little blue. I'm making a little bit of a darker right there. Okay, so we've got green paint. Now, yours may not be the same value color as mine. Yours might be a little more brighter because you used more yellow, or it could be a little darker. If you think it's not light enough, add a little more yellow, okay? So now let's paint. Going back to our palette, and we're just going to put that paint on there. We're just getting it on. That's all we're doing, putting it on there.
Charlie says his favorite color is Longhorn orange.
Ah, Texas fan. All right. So I got it all around the middle. And now I'm going to slowly go around the edge, just like I did before. I'm going to put the paintbrush down, flatten it a little bit, and then just pull it toward me. You know, we're doing that. It's got little streaks in it, but that's fine because the lily pad is not perfectly flat. It's got little textures in it, and we're going to add more textures in just a minute. I'm going to the top, flatten it out. This is another technique. I'm just pulling it toward me. So you can do it this way. This way is easier, just to pull it towards you, flatten and pull, flatten and pull, and going around. I'm going to move my palette. You can pick it up if you want to, move it. Go. I'm not sure why lily pads have this little opening, but they all do. And usually, you know what's sitting on a lily pad? A frog or a dragonfly. I really like dragonflies. There's a lot of paintings with lily pads that have frogs on them and lily pads. Because lily pads are in the water and they float. And some of them have pretty flowers. Okay, now I'm going to smooth this out just a little bit. See how I'm just smoothing it out. Okay. Now if we look at our example, do you see it's got little lines? You can add those lines if you want. And I'm going to show you how to do it. You see the lines? It just adds texture. So, from the inside out, I'm going to get some of that darker paint on my brush. A little bit more blue. It's not much darker. But it's sort of like a rays of sunshine. Just sort of goes out, 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 out. I'm just pulling out a little more paint. You can add more paint, or you can just use what you got. You're just doing textures. You may want more. just giving it something pretty. Okay. Looking good. How are y'all doing out there? Any questions? Has anyone ever painted a lily pad before?
No, but Sophie's doing a really good job.
Yay. Yeah, if y'all could post your pictures later. Okay, I'm going to hold it up and let you look. See? All right. I am going to clean my brush real good. Looks like my blue is drying pretty well. And you may need to go get clean water, because my water is not looking very clean, right? So if you need to go get some clean water, go do that. I just happen to have a little bit of clean water here. Cleaning my brush. You know why? Because I'm going to use white paint. So now it's time to put some white paint. And you're going, well, Miss Cynthia, the canvas is white. Well, we still need some white paint. So here's my white paint. Oh, let's put the top on our blue. Move it out of the way. We're going to put the top on our orange. Clean up, out of the way. There we go. Now, it's time to do white. We're doing a classical.
That's Sophie's.
Yay, Sophie, you're doing great. All right. All right, so here's my water. I'm gonna get a clean paper towel, because that one's dirty. Hey girls, good job. Okay. Now, the white is thick too, so if you need to put a little water, dab a little water, put it in there. There we go, stir around just a tiny bit. And I think I'm going to start on his fin. Oop, I think I got too much water. Put it on this side. Oop, I got a little white. Wait, Easton. Doing good. Elliot, great. Elliot, you're doing great too. All right, working on his little fin. I'm going to go right up to that little line. There we go. Try not to get it in your orange. Right up to it. Doesn't even have to touch. We're doing good. Just get some paint on there. It doesn't have to be pretty. It's just got to be on there. All right, I'm going to start at the tail. Like I said, it can be thick, not too runny. All right, joining us is Ellis, Charlie, Sophie, Allie, Emmy, and Izzy. Good job, guys. I'm glad you're painting with us today. I hope you're working on your fish and it's looking good. All right, going around the tail. If you get a little blue in it, that's okay. All right, how are we doing on time, Pastor Paul?
You're way over.
I'm way over. All right, I'm working on the little fin. Putting some paint around there. I'm just putting it down and dragging. See that? I'm going to work on the side right here, so I'm putting it down beside the orange. I'm trying not to touch it. I'm just pulling and dragging. Just making a little curve. There we go. Right. Good job. Okay, now for me it's easier to turn it around to work on the head. I'm working on this part. How many minutes are we going? Oh, we're at 30. Okay, 35.
We're at 40,
All right.
but you're doing good.
Around the head. This is probably the tricky part because he's got a little spot. So like I said a while ago, I got a couple of little white splatters, but that's fine. More texture. Just something floating in the water, right? Pastor Paul's laughing at me.
Because you're funny.
Okay, smoothing it out. All right, so I've got white on the tail, on the two fins, on that little tiny fin, and this looks a little jagged. You see how he looks a little jagged there? So I'm going to put a little white on my brush, and I'm going to curve that out just a little bit. There. See, you can fix it easy. All right. So, if I had a blow dryer, I could speed this up. But my lily pad still looks a little wet. And I think what we need to do is work on the water just a little bit more. If you think your water is perfect and you don't want to work on it, but I want to add a little bit of blue, and I want it to be a little runny because I'm going to thin it out a little bit. So I'm adding water, a little bit of blue, and I'm stirring. Okay, you see that? And I'm going to come back and I'm going to smooth some places. I don't really want to cover up all that white, but I want to smooth some places. If there's something you want to smooth out, I'm not going to smooth it all because remember he's in water and he's moving, so there's some variation. You never see water that's just perfectly the same. So there's also shadows. So I'm going to get my black out. I'm going to get a little bit of black. And I'm going to put it on my palette. And I'm going to mix it with my blue. You see how I'm doing that? I'm mixing it with my blue. And it's turning into sort of a light gray with a little blue tint. I'm just stirring and stirring. I'm mixing it up very well, flipping my brush over, and I'm going to add a little shadow. Everything has shadows, okay? So we're looking down at the fish, and there's going to be a shadow. So I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to, the shadow is going to be on this side. So let's say the sun is here. There's going to be a shadow here. So I'm going to take this darker blue and I'm just going to run it along this side of the fish. Okay, it's pretty dark, so let's add a little bit more blue. And I'm just doing a little shadow. I'm just following along the edge. See a shadow? Clean off some of that. Smooth it a little bit.
You're kind of
I'm blending it. There we go. And if I got a little too much up here, I'm just gonna lift it off with the brush, put it on my little paper towel. There we go. So now, wow, isn't that cool looking? He's got a shadow. Sort of reminds me of a shark. Now I need a little bit of shadow under this part of his belly. Just put a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect. There we go. Now a little bit of shadow on this part of the tail area. Just pull it.
Do you always paint this fast?
No. Was that a question? Okay. I'm gonna blend it in a little bit.
Are you going to answer that question?
No, I'm a very slow painter. These two paintings on the side, why don't you do a wide shot? Give them something different to look at. Okay.
How long did those two take you?
2 days.
2 days?
2 days. Oh.
And that's because they have to dry before you put on the whiskers?
No. It's just because I didn't know what I was doing. Well, I had to put gesso on the board because the board wasn't working. Okay, so back to the detailed shot. I'm going to hold it up. Here we go. Okay, that's looking really good. I need to do a little bit of more shadow down here. Okay, so we're going to get more of that little dark. Get that paint in view.
Can it dry all the way and you come back and put some more on it?
Yes. It can dry and you can come back. So I'm going to put some shadow right there. Okay. You know what? It's not perfect, but I think it looks good. Since I have that same color right here, I'm going to put a little bit of a shadow on this corner of my lily pad. I think I want this a little bit darker, just because I think it looks cool. Gives it dimension. What do you think? I think that looks great. Okay, he needs a little bit of shadow here, so we'll take that same paint. The black and the blue, it's going to be our shadow color. And I'm going to put a little here. Doop, 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 doop. Hey, I'm going to use my finger, because my finger fits in there perfectly. What do you think about that? All right. I'm just going to use my finger.
You better use your paper.
All right.
Wipe your finger off.
Woo! I think that looks great. How y'all doing? All right, you know what? We're almost finished. But because we put shadow there, we need a little bit of shadow, and I sure would like my assistant to give me some fresh water because we need to clean our brush. Now, if you need to get some clean water, we can wait just a second. I need to clean my hands. We need clean water because we're going to use our white again, and we're going to give a little bit of shadow to our fish where his fin and his body join. So I'm going to show you this picture. See this? This is my inspiration. See his tail here? Right here, we need a little bit of shadow so you can see where his fin and his body, they join, okay? So we're going to be mixing our white and black. Okay, so if you can get some clean water, we're going to clean our brush. Thank you.
that because it's all white and it looks flat, but it's really round, and that'll make it look round? Yes? No?
We're taking our white, a little white there. Clean the brush, dry the brush, and a little dab of the black. Yes, because you're adding dimension, because the white has shadows in it too, right? So you're painting to add, to make it look like it's 3D and not just a flat surface. Okay, that's why we're going to add a shadow. So I have black, and I have white, and I'm making a little gray. Okay, you don't need a lot of black, you don't need a lot of white, but you do need to stir it mix it up, blend it. See how we're blending and blending. And if you think that looks too dark for you, grab a little dab of that white, mix it up. All right, I think we're almost there. Mix, mix, mix. There we go. Flip that brush over. Remember, there's paint on the other side. You don't need a lot, just need a little. Okay, there's my gray. So I'm moving my white, put my little lid on my white, move that out of the way, put my lid on my black, moving that out of the way. All right, ready to go. Okay, now like I said, this is our example, and we're going to add a shadow between the body and the fin, okay? So, you may want the little brush, but I'm going to use the big brush. And I'm just going to sort of dab a line. Maybe not.
Hand is a little bit in the way.
And if it's too thick, we're going to blend it. Because that white paint of mine is still wet, so it blends. And I'm going to come out a little bit. And you know what? It's not smooth. It's rough. You see? It's just a little bit of a shadow. Okay. Now, we're going to do the same for this little bitty fin. We're going to do the same between the body and that little fin. We're going to put a little gray. Just a little bit. And then turn my palette. Do the same here. I'm going to put a little gray down. And blend it out. Now, remember we had the shadow on this side? So if I want to put a little bit more gray, that's okay, because that's the shadow side, right? I might even put a lot of gray in there. It's rough. All right, now let's do some on the tail. I'm going to do a little bit of a curve. See how I curve that right there? Okay. Now when your brush is not very wet and you sort of like dab it off a little bit, it's called a dry brush. And I'm going to just drag my brush from that curve straight down. Makes little lines. It's called dry brush. Dab it, and just bring it down. Bring it down, bring it down. Ooh, I got a little blue in there, but that's cool. Dab it. It's not very wet. Just adding texture. All right. See? Cool. All right. Now, with the gray, we're going to give a little shape to the head. So we're just going to give it a little bit of a curve. You may want the little brush. Just put a little gray in there. Okay. And I'm putting a little bit of a curve right there and right there. Because we're going to do the eyeball in just a second. I'm going to smooth that out a little bit. Need a little water. Oop, too much water. How we doing? Any questions? I'm going to put a little water in that and make that thin out a little bit, because we're just doing a little bit of shape for the head. Okay? All right. And I need a little gray, because his mouth is up here. Remember his mouth? See his mouth? So we're just adding a little shape here and here, and we're going to give him a little mouth. And he doesn't really have a nose that shows, but they do have noses. So I'm going to add a little gray here. Not much, just a touch. All right, we're ready for the eyeball. You want to clean your clean your brush. I'm going to use a smaller brush for this. And I had some black left, but it's mixed with the blue. So I'm just going to open up my black, and I'm going to work straight out of my little cup of black. All right. His eyeball is not perfectly round. If you want to practice this on a piece of paper beside you or somewhere. So it's not round. It's not like that. It's sort of long. It's almost like a little line, okay? So we're going to do like a little line eye. Right there. Perfect. Right there. Ooh, that one's big. There we go. All right. His mouth is open a little bit. I'm going to give it a little dark thing just because I know that his mouth is right there. And if you want to put his little whiskers, you can do black or white. Okay. On this one, we had black. See that? Okay. You can turn it back on. All right, so now I'm going to do a little whisker, and I'm going to get some water, and I'm going to mix it with black because I want it not too thick, not too runny. I don't want it to drip. Put up your brush. If it drips, that's too much water. So now I'm going to do his little whisker. And his whisker doesn't go straight out. It goes toward the back. So I'm just going to take it and try to flatten that out a little bit. And not push down. I'm going to do like a quick little whoop. There we go. Whoop. There we go. This was a little thicker. That's okay. Whoop. They can be short, they can be long. There we go. He's a happy fish. I think I need a little bit more gray around his eyeball area. This part right there. All right, guys, I think we're almost done. Need any questions? This is the time to ask it. All right, how are we looking? I hope you send us pictures. Pastor Paul, how do they need to send pictures, post?
They can text it, have their parents text it to me, or they can email.
Okay, you can text your pictures to Miss Ashley, or you can email them to her.
Ashley@columbiaun.org. Or you can post them on Facebook. However you're comfortable.
How we doing, guys?
Can you repeat all that she just said?
Okay, so you can send it to Ashley at Columbia United Methodist, no, ColumbiaUM.org. Okay, so we want to see your pictures, see how you're doing. And I think we're about to finish. Oh, one thing, if you want the bubbles, I love me some bubbles. So this is just a glue stick, okay? So I've got the top here, and I'm going to dip the top into some white paint that I have. Did you see how fast that was? Look. Cool, huh? Let's say I want 3 bubbles. It's always good to work in 3s. Bubble, perfect. Guys, I enjoyed it. Thank you for attending this first Wacky Wednesday, and we'll see you next week. Bye.